Alright, so I got a few questions from people wondering how I set this tank up. I wish I would have taken a video during the process of setting it up so you could see step by step, but I forgot to do that. So in this video I'm going to try to go through how I set this up. If you have any other questions, you can leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Alright, so the first thing that I did when I was setting this tank up is I put this piece of plexiglass separating the land and the water sections. When you do this, you want to make sure that you silicone along the edges wherever the plexiglass meets the glass. And I did it on both sides just to make sure that it's watertight. The next step after you put in a piece of plexiglass with silicone is to let it dry. After it's dried, I would recommend filling the water up however high you want it, and just let it sit there overnight just to make sure that there's no leaks, because you don't want the water to leak into the land section. Otherwise the dirt will become waterlogged and it won't be good for your plants. So after you do that, the next step would be to do the background. And there's a lot of good resources out there on how to do a foam background, which is the method that I used. I'll leave a link in the video description of a website that I used, and it also has helpful tips on growing plants and using the correct lighting. One thing that I would recommend doing when you're doing the background is to have places to pot some plants. So in my case, I have one spot over here, and then I also have one in the back there that's kind of hard to see. But that way you can pot plants right into the background and it really fills up the space. Some people were asking me where I put the cords from the waterfall and the filter. In my case, I hid them underneath this piece of cork bark, and then in the back, let me see if I can pull this off. In the back there, it's kind of hard to see, but I have a round piece of cork bark going up the back corner, and that's where all of the cords go out. They go up the side all the way up top, and they come out up top up here and out the back. So that's one idea you could use if you're trying to do a similar setup. So after you have your background all set, the next part is to put in the substrate and the water decorations and substrate for the water section. So on the land section, I used a layer of hydroballs, and then a screen mesh layer, and then a dirt mix for the substrate. And then the water section, I just used sand, and then I have some live plants in there and some rocks and stuff. If you're gonna have fish in the bottom section, the filtration that the waterfall does probably won't be enough. So I would suggest getting a small filter just to help with filtration. So I have a small filter in the back corner. I might actually at some point put that filter inside of the waterfall so it's even more hidden. Maybe next time I clean out this bottom part. Another thing that I did along the opening here is I put a strip of LEDs, and that just gives it a cool glow at night. So I'll just show you that quick. So it just kind of lights up the water section Doesn't show up very well on camera, but it looks pretty cool in person. Here's a front view of it. And the brand that I use was Antec. And I just bought this at a local computer store. It's made for putting inside of a computer case to light up your computer, but it actually fits perfectly on this setup. Alright, so I hope that answered some of your questions on how I set this tank up. If you have any other questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.